Hello बच्चों, the question is which of the following events is not associated with ovulation in human female? So ovulation, here we have to tell the event which is not associated with ovulation. So ovulation is the release of secondary oocyte from the ovary. So when the ovum is released from the ovary, it is at the secondary oocyte stage. Now in the ovary, suppose this is the ovary. Now in the ovary there are a large number of follicles. Some follicles are at the primary stage, which is marked by the presence of a primary oocyte with a single layer of follicular cell. So the primary oocyte surrounded by a layer of follicular cell, this structure is known as the primary follicle. Now the primary follicle grow to form the secondary follicle, which is marked by a primary oocyte and the multiple layers of follicular cells. And this is due to the hormone FSH, which is secreted from the anterior lobe of pituitary gland, and there is formation of covering around the follicle which is called theca. So this is secondary follicle. Now the secondary follicle grow further to form the tertiary follicle, which is characterized by the presence of a cavity, fluid filled cavity, and also the primary oocyte completes its division and it forms the secondary oocyte. So in tertiary follicle there is secondary oocyte and also these are the follicular cells, and along with this there is a cavity, and this cavity is the follicular cavity, and here there is formation of theca interna, which is the inner layer, and there is formation of theca externa, and this tertiary follicle now grow further and it forms the mature follicle, which is known as the Graafian follicle, which is marked by the eccentric secondary oocyte. Means here the position is away from the center, then the follicular cells and the cavity and theca externa and theca interna. So this is a fully mature follicle which is known as the Graafian follicle. Now as the follicles are growing, means during this event the level of FSH is high and also the level of LH or luteinizing hormone is high. So FSH and LH, they are released from the anterior lobe of pituitary and together they are known as gonadotropins. And FSH is responsible for the growth of follicle while the LH is responsible for the ovulation. So from this Graafian follicle, secondary oocyte will be released. So this secondary oocyte, which is arrested at the meiotic phase, at metaphase 2, meiosis of metaphase 2, it is released. Now this empty Graafian follicle which is left here, it is converted into the corpus luteum or yellow body. So this step or the release of secondary oocyte, it is marked by a sudden increase in level of LH. Means just before ovulation the level of LH becomes very high. It increases several folds and it is called LH surge. So ovulation is due to the LH surge. Now as the follicles are growing, as you see here from primary to Graafian follicle, the follicular cells secrete a hormone which is called estrogen or estradiol. It is the female sex hormone. Now this estrogen or estradiol, it is secreted from the follicular cell. So as the follicles are growing, there is remarked, means at the time of ovulation the level of estrogen is high in the female ovary. So if we look at the events now, the first is, means these we have to find out the event which is not associated with ovulation. So first is release of secondary oocyte. So this is true because release of secondary oocyte is itself called the ovulation. Then LH surge, so it is also true because LH surge or sudden increase in level of LH is responsible for ovulation, so it is also true. Then decrease in estradiol, but you can see that during the ovulation the level of estrogen is very high because here first the follicles have grown, only then the ovulation will take place. So the follicular cells are releasing estrogen, so there will be high level of estrogen, so this is not true. Then D option is full development of Graafian follicle. So this is true because first the growth of follicle will be there, only then ovulation can be taken place. So This is also true. So the only event which is not related with ovulation is decrease in estradiol, because it increases. So the right answer of this question is option C. I hope this explanation is very clear. All the best.